Hello my friends, how are you doing? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my favorite products from BK Beauty. They are running a 20% off sale for Mother's Day week, and I thought this is the perfect time to come here, regroup, just demo all the brushes that I love from them, and then a few other products that I use in the daily. If this is your first time passing by, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. To go ahead and click down there where it says subscribe, and also come to my other socials for more beauty. And without further ado, let's begin. Alrighty friends, so as mentioned, BK Beauty is having a 20% off sale, and that's very exciting because they don't really run sales that often. They do have really nice bundles, but this sale is a really good one because nothing is off the table. Even the 109, which is sometimes excluded from promotions, is included in the sale. That's pretty exciting. The sale starts today, May 9th, and it's gonna run to May 14th at 11:59 CST, and everybody is gonna enjoy 20% off. Once you place your brush in the cart, the discount is gonna take place over there, and you're not gonna be able to stack any discounts like for, you know, like affiliate discounts or whatever. I have a discount, but you cannot apply it at top. So 20% is what you get. Every single of the brushes that I'm gonna talk about today is gonna be linked in the description box for you, and you're gonna be able to find everything very easy. Also, customers can sign up for their email during this sale and receive a 20% discount when this out of stock items come back into stock. So that's very exciting, and that's good to know. If anything runs out, you can always wait till it comes back and get 20% off that item. Been with me for a minute, then you already know this, but I love their brushes. I've tried them back when Lisa started her brand. I remember when she launched BK Beauty. It was very exciting because I was a follower of her for a long time. I love her beauty content, and so Lisa just seems very relatable. Like overall, she seems very kind, and so I like that. So that's one of the things that really drew me to her brand. And then ever since I tried them, I've just fallen in love with the brushes. These are high quality synthetic brushes, and they just held up so well for a long time. Like one of them, or maybe two of them, I had maybe 2 or 3 years. Not one brush had broken apart on me, not one of them. So that's pretty amazing. And other than my natural hair brushes, BK is what I have in my collections, to be honest. If you look at my brushes layout right here, all I have is Sonia, Referal, and BK Beauty, because those are my favorites. I don't like to hoard a lot of other brushes that I don't use. These are all that I need and that I want to have in my collection. So let's begin with a full face, because I'm gonna demo all of these brushes for you, and I'm gonna tell you what I love to use them for. Let's begin with 101, and this is how my obsession started with BK Beauty, to be honest. This is such an amazing, such a beautiful foundation brush, like no other. This is all that I want and I need for the rest of my life. I know I'm being a little dramatic, but truly, you guys, this is what I use every single day, and this has been through the ringers because I believe this is like 3 years old or so. And so yeah, and she just washes and she just goes so good, unbelievable. So I love 101 because it really packs the coverage for me. I just do 3 or 4 pats and my whole face is done. It is so big, like it just covers so much of the surface area that I want, that with few passes, like my foundation is well applied. This never makes my foundation streaky or cakey. This just blends it so well. Such an amazing brush. It is such an amazing brush. Now they released the Core Collection set, and the Core Collection set I highly recommend, because I feel felt like this corset really just filled up all the gaps that BK Beauty had in their main existing brushes, and this was one of the newer brushes that they released. So 109 is the one that I use for the left side of my face, and this is the baby of the 101. And if you see them side by side, you can see that they are exactly the same brush. They look exactly the same, but 101 is so much bigger, and it just packs a lot more. This is more dense, is highly dense, and this is just a little bit more flexible, you know, like you don't get that much hair in here, but it is really good for multiple you know, reasons. So 109 I use for the left side, and my foundation, just to show you that you could use it for this. 109 girl, she works, like she can do it all. I'm gonna show you because I kept going back to this one as my favorite brush, and that's why I am going to be picking up a backup of the 109 because it is that good. So 109 does a really good job at blending my foundation, and no streakiness, same way, same coverage, same all, but just a little guy. This gets the job done quick. So for my foundation, I like 101. For my concealer now, I like 109. And so let's talk about concealer next. We have two options for concealer brushes. So the 506 was released in a collaboration with Angie, Hot and Flashy, and the 506 was so highly loved that they released it. I believe now it's permanent to their line. But so this is what it looks like. So it's the mini version of the one that I just talked about. So same thing, you have the daddy, you have probably the mom, and then you have the little kitty. They're all the same exact shape, you see, angled and everything, but it's just tiny. This is perfect for concealer, and this guy packs so much coverage. Look how this blends out my concealer very flawlessly. When I want full coverage, I go for this. Now I love 109 for my concealer because again, I'm always, you know, rushing. I want to get stuff done and quick, and 109 is bigger girl, so it's gonna do it in 2 or 3 passes, and it was quick and really good. But if I want to really pack the coverage, I go for the 506. I feel like this gives me more coverage. If I want to just everyday, you know, fast mommy makeup, I go for 109. So 109 is also a contouring brush. You can totally use this with a contour stick, as you see me right here with the Rare Beauty stick. It just really blends everything so seamlessly, and it truly just, you know, just lays the product right there in the hollows of your cheek where you want it to go. Same thing for the left side. I went ahead and I applied a little bit of the Charlotte contour so you can see how it blends liquids as well. So 109, such a hard worker girl. She works. So I love this because it is extremely multitasking. So part of their core extension is 112. This guy is a small blush brush, and I like this guy because it is very tiny and it gets right there. So you see me applying it liquid blush by Charlotte, and it really, I mean, I applied too much, girl, I know, but you know, it really disperses the product very nicely. If you have smaller face, or if you really want your blush to be precise, this is your girl. She's so tiny, she's so tiny. So you just, you know, just keep your blush up here if that's what you want to do. 107 is the one that I love to use a bronzer, powder bronzer with. I didn't apply powder bronzer in this demo, but 107 is such a nice and not a super highly packed brush, but you know, just the way that it rounds the hair, it really lets you apply the right amount of product without really messing up your makeup. So this goes really really precise right on the hollows of your cheek. You can apply the bronzer, and then I love it for blush, as you can see me applying it here in my demo. So this applies bronzer and blush really nice. It's not highly dense or packed, so it's gonna really let you apply the product with no problems of messing up. Now let's move on to 507, and 507 was also part of the this collection from NG Hot and Flashy. I love this blush brush because it's so packed. So I was gonna use it, but it's a little bit dampened still because it is so highly packed. I washed them this morning and they do dry pretty quick, but this is still a little bit damp in the center, so I didn't want to mess up my makeup. As soon as I put my brush into it, I could see, so I'm like, oh, no, I'm gonna ruin my makeup, so let's not use this guy. I've talked about this brush before because this is a brush that I use with blushes that are harder to pick up and blushes that are not very pigmented on my skin complexion that I need building up. And this brush being so highly packed, it really gets it done, girl. Any blush I can apply with this because it's just so good and packed. I have to be very careful because with a brush, with a blush like the House is so pigmented, I'm scared to take a brush like this because it is so highly packed. So I choose this brush whenever I have a really light blush or something that doesn't show up on me and I want that pigment out. Some of my high-end blushes that are very light pink, I use this guy, and with my Chanel highlighting blush I use this guy because this really gets in there and it applies the product so beautifully. Now for underneath my eyes we have 113, and this is also newer to the collection and I just love this brush, you guys, for underneath my eyes. I love it so much. I get so many questions every time that I use it. What is that brush? It really gets in there and it just deposits the right amount of powder to just perfectly set my under eyes. Before this came into my life, I was so used to Sonia's Designer Pro or Wayne Goss brush to set underneath my eyes, you know, these kind of roundish brushes. This is so tapered on to the side that, I don't know, it just makes it special because it's not gonna apply a ton of powder. So if you have really dry under eyes and you're scared to apply too much powder, I think this is the brush for you. It just gets in there. It gets really precise in there, you know, to pack the right amount of product. And I know a lot of people, not a lot of people set their whole face with powder. So sometimes, like today, I didn't set the rest of my face. I only set it underneath my eyes, just a little bit of powder on my T-zone, my smile lines, a little bit on my chin, and there's just a light dusting of the powder, and this is all that I use for my whole face. I know it's small and it may seem like, you know, like it's not good for that, but it's just amazing because it really doesn't deposit a lot of powder. So if you don't like to set your face with a lot of powder, this is your gal. Now let's talk about 106, and this brush I didn't feature in today's video. It's such a nice brush for my cream contours, so like contours that are in a pot or something like that, like very creamy formula. This is very round, as you can see. I also love it to apply the cream blushes. This is very highly packed, and I also like it for my foundation. So whenever my 101 is dirty, like she's done, I applied it with the 106. It's also very nice. It really blends in my foundation, and it's also a multitasking kind of brush. So now let's move on to eye brushes, and my eyes are small. I need small brushes to really do all my detail work because big brushes don't really work for me. 201 was very famous at the beginning when it first released with the brand. It is a nice brush, but I cannot use this on my eyes. It's just too big for me, so I like to use it for highlighter, and this is what I use. use today. So you can see me apply just the right amount of highlight right up there. If you're heavy-handed with highlighter and you go to town with it, this is good for you because it's really going to apply the precise amount right there. And then of course it's very nice for your nose and the tip of your nose as well. So 212 is newer part of their core collection. This really picks up a good amount of product and it just blends everything beautifully. You can see that I'm using Dior's newer eyeshadow palette, and this really picks up a good amount of that powder. That powder is a little bit hard pressed on the pan, and I feel like if you have the right tool, you're gonna get the pigment that you need, and this really does that. Look, it's not extremely huge, so you can see it gets right there, and then it's just gonna let me blend inwards like that. Yeah, this is a very nice 212 brush. This is the newer one, and it also comes with 211, and 211 is just a little bit more small than the 212, but this is my favorite. If you have hooded eyes, that's what this core set was meant for, small set of eyes and hooded eyes. And this is also going to let you be very, very precise right in the outer V to apply the right amount of pigment right there. I went ahead and applied my brown with this, so I could use either of them, to be honest. If I use the 212, this picks up more product, so I have to be careful. But if I pick it up with the 211, it's just going to give me a wash lighter application of the eyeshadow. So these two are must-have for smaller eyes. And 504 is also part of the MG Hot and Flashy. And as you can see, I'm a big fan of this set. I felt like it was very, very good. Very, very good for just in general. It was a really nice curation of brushes. So this is also tiny. Let's put it side by side. So pretty much it's the same brush but just going smaller. So this is the one that I'm talking about in the silver barrel, and yeah, this is a very nice and tiny brush. I used it today to apply the shimmer, and this shimmer is very light, but it shows up whenever you wet your brush. So I did a light dusting of the product, and then I went ahead and I wetted my brush. Sometimes I don't want to wet it, so I did that at the beginning. So take a look at this. Right now it's all dry. It gets really nice and precise right in my inner corner, and it's gonna let me apply that shimmer right there to open up my eyes. You know, this is very soft as well. I can also use this, my lower lash if I wanted to, but truly for my lower lash, I like the 210. Again, newer. So 210, 211, 212 are my go-to. This is tiny. It is a tiny blending brush for the lower lash, and she has multiple of the lower lash. Like this is the 207, and you can see the difference. The 207 is really, really highly packed. This, like if you applied too much of the shadow and you want help to blend it a little bit downward, this is the one, the 207. But I have tiny eyes again. I want the tiny brushes, and this is perfect for me. So this really applies the product right there, very precise without messing anything. Last but not least, if you don't know how to do a wing liner, you need the 208. 208 is my favorite brush. I don't think I've mentioned it enough in my channel, but I need to, because I use it almost every single time I do a wing with an eyeshadow. And take a look at this. This really lays down the product right there for you. Like it's really dummy proof. You can't really go wrong with it. You just have to look straight in the mirror. I tried to get a good angle of it. I hope I did. And yeah, you just have to try to look straight to the mirror and then just lay this brush down there, and it really does the job for you. It really does. Like it is such a good brush. So you saw me, one straight, one tilted line, then towards my nose, and then just fill up in the gap, and that's it. It's absolutely amazing. Like this brush 208, if you love your wing liners, if you love to use cream liners, this is the one for you. So tiny, you guys, it is so tiny. And then as I showed you here, if you really like that cat eye look, look, if you really like that, you just have to tilt your brush a little bit like this. Let me get more eyeshadow, and it's going to, sorry, I can't really talk and do this, but look, so easy. Just lace down this powder like no other brush. Now I did wanted to give a little bit of love to these two products by BK Beauty. They do have lip liners and lipsticks. I swatched them all in a previous video if you wanted to take a look, but my favorite of the lip liners is this one in Warm Spice. Such a nice and creamy formula. This really gets the job done. It's very long wearing and pretty. It's very creamy. You're never tugging on your lips, and it is full on pigmentation, so it's very nice. And then the lipstick of choice is Kindness. Kindness is a beautiful warm tone shade that it is just so comfortable. It is very creamy to the lips. It's not extremely shiny, so if you're not into that shiny look like I am, I love a creamy matte formula, and this is just the perfect creamy in between. So this really gives me the comfort that I need with a little bit of a matte look. Not extremely matte, it has a little bit of something, but it's such a nice and comfortable formula. They have beautiful pinks, beautiful nudes. I think these don't get the hype that they deserve because they truly get lost in between all the brushes and the products that they have, but these lipsticks are very amazing for pigment and hydration. Last but not least, I want to talk about this set of lashes newly to their collection. They released a few other false lashes, and these were in collaboration with Reset That's Makeup. First of all, I love that they're individual. They come like this, very nicely packed. The color just, this beige color as the brand does. I love this half lash. I've worn them in multiple of my videos and I get questions all the time. If you never worn a half lash or just eyelashes in general, this is where you should start. These are so nice, you guys. Very durable. They clean up very nicely. You want to care for your eyelashes. Just remove the glue after you wear them. Not like me, like right now I'm cleaning it off, but it just cleans up so well. I've worn them like 5 times already, and you get multiple uses out of a lash like this. I'm gonna place it so that you can see it. I'm actually rushing to go, and that's why I'm not going to put them on just to rip them off, but like it just, you see, it just gets placed in a second. You apply the glue to to the lash, you let it dry for a minute, and it just gives you such a nice volume. It's just the necessary volume in the outer V to get that flirty look, and it's just very pretty. Alright guys, this was a long one. If you're still here, you're a keeper. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy my demos and thoughts on BK Beauty brushes and products. Everything will be linked below. All the brushes, each and every one will gonna be linked down there. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Comment below, what are your favorites from BK Beauty? Have you tried these brushes? Are you interested? Any comments, anything at all, just drop it below. If you have more questions or whatever, we can take it over to Instagram and I'll show you on my stories, all that good stuff. I love you so much, friends, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye bye.